Thanks so much to all my patrons. Join now to help support the channel and help pick the books that I review. Link in the description. And I am done. Okay, so I just got done reading Mistress of the Empire. This is book 3 of the Empire Trilogy by Janny Wurts and Randy Feist, and I want to give you my unedited thoughts upon finishing this book, which was literally just right now. So yeah, this is one of the best books I've ever read, and this, I'd have to look at like my weird spreadsheet I have, but I think without a doubt, this is going to go down as a top 10 best fantasy series that I've ever read. And definitely top 5 like best fantasy trilogies. Probably very top 3. I mean, this is a perfect trilogy. And I've been waiting for a while to finally find one of these things. I found a few in my life. One of which jumps to mind is the Tide Child trilogy by R.J. Barker. But man, I can't tell you how many books, not just trilogies, but like series where when I got to the last book in the series, it was a letdown. And it feels like it's been happening pretty much every book that I've been reading. And then to go into this one and have it be the best book in the trilogy, a trilogy that was already, in my mind, simply fantastic. Easy 5 out of 5 books for the first 2 reads. And the third that takes it to such an elevated spot that brings in all of this work that was done in the first couple books to bring back these major themes and the plot points that just hit in such a perfect way, and that you realize things were like building up without you even realizing it. Just incredible stuff. Incredible writing. I don't know who was mostly responsible for this book. I don't do a ton of research into things. It feels so different from the Randy Feist books that I read in the Rift War saga, the 4 or 5 books that are in that initial Magician series. It feels so much different than that it in my brain just says this is a mostly Janny Wurts book, but I have no idea about that. It could have been totally different or perfectly equal, or I have no clue. But this is special, and it makes me a little sad in some regards because I know that none of the Raymond Feist books in the Rift War are going to even get close to touching on this, because this book is different than the other ones. It's not like the ones that I read were different than all the rest of them. These are the different ones, because these are like the political thrillers. And what I got with the rest of the Rift War was this in not bad books. In fact, the first one I thought was absolutely wonderful. But the classic, or the like Lord of the Rings-ish type of fantasy with a bit more modern kind of, hue to it. And this is a political thriller. I mean, this is a nothing like that. This has a on the edge of your seat, trying to defeat your enemies and outthink them left and right. It's got some of the best written romance in fantasy that I've read. It's really well done. That doesn't have this emphasis on the passionate side of things. It puts the emphasis on the humans and like this loving marriage between these two people that have come to respect each other and form a love over this kind of arranged setting, and this more kind of lustful thing in the previous book that kind of comes back to show itself in certain ways. And it's great. It's great. I felt like this book did this really weird thing in it where for the first half of the book, it felt like it was about a different character. The first 2 books were definitively these books about this young woman, Mara, who is not young by this final book, but in the first couple books she is, and about her taking over the family like clan, and because of the death of family members in war, and everyone's trying to come for, they feel blood in the water, and her family's weak, and they're coming forward, and she's got to figure out a way from this really weak position to claw her way back up to strength to make it so that she won't be conquered. And the second book is growing that theme. And this third one it's really about the spy master of Mara. And I won't say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything here, but it's a lot of like this plot progression of Mara gets an idea and then we get to go watch the spy master put it into action. And honestly, it felt weird. And then I started to grow to love it and love this character even more. And then as the book developed and I saw kind of more of the reason this character was there and the real story being told, and it brings it back to Mara and then brings it all home towards the end and, you know, wraps it all up. And it's beautiful. I love it. I feel like the ending of the story was about as perfect of a fantasy ending as you can get, with a great mix of, how do I say things without spoiling it? I guess what I can say is it felt like a very earned ending. It felt like one that was like, you know, didn't feel overly predictable and overly, nor did it feel overly surprising. It just felt right. And it's almost like sometimes books try to either make an ending too right and too perfect and clean, and it comes off wrong. And it feels like not real life. Or the books try to shock you and go in this first law direction, which I love also. This one did a really good job at finding the right balance. And that's great. You know, I'm going to miss this character, this Mara, and this world, because I know the rest of the books don't really revisit this. In fact, like this whole Riftwar saga is about this one world of Midkemia or Kelawon. I don't remember which one's which. And it's like, you know, knights and castles and some magic and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, this rift opens up to another world, and these other human-like people come through and go to war. And that's what the first one was all about. And the second one, we go and have an adventure in that other world from their perspective. And some of the events cross over. But all the rest of the books, at least from what I'm being told, is they go back to that first world. And we kind of don't really deal with that other one anymore. And that sucks, because I love that other one so much more. It's so much more intriguing to me. So yeah, this is one of those problems with older books, is that it's so like lose-lose for me. I get kind of chided sometimes because I just openly admit that I don't really normally love older books. It's just a bias of mine. I like the way newer stories are told. There's a style difference that's changed over the years, especially in fantasy. But every now and then you find a great one, like Riftwar, like this. Although this isn't terribly old, but it's not in that very brand new kind of stuff that I love. But then it's like, you know that even if you love it, it's not written anymore. And so, like a new series, you read it and you find a new book and you love a book and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. And then, there's these books that are being written and I get to be on the hype train. It's like, no, this is done. It's dusted. And I'm never going to get to read it anymore. It's just 3 quick books, you know, nothing big. So that's rough. So what else can I say about this? Normally I go through and talk about the negatives of the book, but I literally don't have any. I do feel like if the audiobook narrator on this was good, it would be a particularly well done story that is made kind of for a good audiobook. You know, it's got a smaller cast of characters. It's not complicated. It's about the it's telling a very specific story, but it's not trying to confuse you by any means. So it's really ideal, because a lot of fantasy books I cannot say that about. They don't match that initial criteria, because it's just, here's 200 characters and we're gonna go travel to these 80 different spots. You know, this story's about like one city. It's about these few different families. It's about this main person feuding with this main person throughout the series. It's easy, right? And that's great for audio. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Go check this series out. If you haven't done it yet, man, what are you doing? I mean, this is great for newer fans, older fans. I can't think of a fantasy type reader that I would say don't give this a shot. Normally it's like things are tailor-made kind of for one person or another, but not this. This is wide-ranging love. Should be heaped on here. And I'd be shocked if, I would be honestly more shocked than almost any other book that if you read this and you went, Matt, what are you talking about? This sucked. No one's going to say that. So check it out. Give it a shot. I think you're at least going to like it. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy reading to you. Thanks again to all my patrons, with a special shout out to my Ascendant tier and Librarian tier patrons, Amy, Alex P, Anna G, Brady K, Doust, Darren, Jerry, Jonathan, Nev's Book Channel, Ron Reich, Ryan L, Sydney Baker, Anna, Blair, Eric Cannon, Joe UK, Kat Mick, Ricky Iman, and Sky. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, and if you want to watch some more content from my channel, click over here and I've got some good videos for you. Thanks so much.